Have you ever been told by your own parents that they wish you were different, right at the moment when you were supposed to be celebrated? I'm Emma, and on my 27th birthday, I learned that some family ties aren't worth keeping, no matter how much money you've spent trying to hold them together. I grew up as the invisible daughter in the Carter family. While my younger sister Sophia was busy building her social media empire and racking up thousands of followers on TikTok and Instagram, I was the practical one. The one who learned to code in her bedroom at 16. The one who skipped college parties to finish freelance projects. The one who worked her way up from junior developer to senior software engineer at a tech company in Miami, all without a computer science degree. My parents loved to brag about Sophia. At family gatherings, Mom would spend hours showing everyone her latest viral videos. "She's going to be famous," Mom would say, her eyes shining with pride. "She has a gift for connecting with people." Meanwhile, when relatives asked what I did, Dad would mumble something about computers and change the subject. Being a software engineer wasn't glamorous enough. It wasn't something they could show off at parties. But here's the thing nobody talks about in those toxic family dynamics. The invisible child often becomes the ATM. For the past 3 years, I'd been quietly covering expenses that my parents claimed they couldn't afford. It started small. Dad's car payment when he retired early at 59 because he wanted to enjoy life. "Just $800 a month," he said. "Temporary," he promised. That was 36 months ago. Then came Sophia's business expenses. She needed a new camera, new lighting equipment, a better laptop for editing, money for her trips to create content. It added up to about $3,000 a month. "She's investing in her future," Mom insisted. "You make good money. You can help your sister, can't you?" I could. That was the problem. I made $158,000 a year as a senior engineer, and I was good at my job. So I helped, and helped, and helped some more. When Mom needed surgery last year and their insurance didn't cover everything, I paid the $15,000 balance. When their air conditioning broke during a Miami summer, I handled the $6,000 replacement. When Sophia needed a co-signer for her apartment because she had no credit history and no real income, I signed the papers. I kept track of everything in a spreadsheet. Call it a weird habit, but as someone who works with data all day, I like having clear records. Every payment, every transfer, every bill I covered. I told myself it was just good financial planning. Deep down, I think I knew I might need evidence someday. My 27th birthday fell on a Saturday. My company had just promoted me to lead engineer, and they'd flown me to a tech conference in San Francisco the week before, where I spoke on a panel about women in technology. It was the biggest professional achievement of my career so far. I'd also received an offer to transfer to our Seattle office with another promotion and a salary bump to $200,000. I was flying high. I decided to celebrate. I booked a private dining room at Maria, an upscale seafood restaurant in Brickell. I invited my parents, Sophia, my best friend from college, and my work mentor, David. I paid for everything in advance, of course. The deposit alone was $1,200, but I wanted one night where I felt valued. One night where my achievements were the center of attention. Everyone arrived on time except my family. My friend and David made small talk while we waited, checking their phones, trying not to make it awkward. 40 minutes after our reservation time, my phone buzzed. "Running late," Mom's text said. "Sophia just filmed the perfect sunset video at South Beach. You understand, right? This could go viral." I understood all right. I understood that even on my birthday, Sophia's content came first. They finally showed up an hour late. Mom breezed in wearing a designer dress I'd never seen before, which probably meant she'd gone shopping instead of admitting she couldn't afford it. Dad followed, looking uncomfortable in a suit. And Sophia glided in like she was walking a red carpet, phone in hand, still recording. "Sorry we're late," Sophia chirped, not sounding sorry at all. "But look, I got the most amazing shots. The lighting was perfect. This is definitely going to hit 100,000 views." No happy birthday. No acknowledgement that everyone had been waiting. Just Sophia's world, as always. Mom kissed my cheek distractedly and immediately turned to the group. "Have you seen Sophia's latest video? She's up to 300,000 followers now. 300,000! Can you believe it?" David, bless him, tried to redirect. That's impressive, but we're here to celebrate Emma's promotion. Lead engineer is a huge accomplishment. Oh yes, of course, Mom said, waving her hand dismissively. That's wonderful too, sweetie. Now, Sophia, show everyone that video from last week. The one where you tried that new restaurant. Dinner was exactly what I'd feared. Every conversation somehow circled back to Sophia, her follower count, her engagement rates, her brand deals that were definitely coming any day now. Meanwhile, my promotion got a combined total of maybe 5 minutes of attention. I smiled through it. I made polite conversation. I swallowed the disappointment like I'd been doing my whole life. I even paid for the extra bottle of wine Mom ordered without asking. Then came the moment that changed everything. David had just finished telling a story about how I'd solved a critical bug that saved our company from a major security breach, and how my quick thinking had impressed the executives enough to fast-track my promotion. My friend chimed in, and she did it all while working remotely during that power outage, using her phone as a hotspot. Sophia barely looked up from her phone. She was scrolling through comments on her latest post. I took a breath. This was my moment. My birthday. My celebration. Actually, I wanted to share some news, I said. The company offered me a position in Seattle, lead architect role. It's a significant promotion, and I'm thinking of taking it. The table went quiet. My friend and David immediately started congratulating me, but my parents' faces changed. Mom's smile froze. Dad put down his fork slowly. Seattle? Mom's voice had an edge to it. That's across the country. It's an incredible opportunity, I explained. The team there is working on cutting-edge AI integration, and I'd be leading the whole project. Plus, the salary increase is substantial. When would you leave? Dad asked, his jaw tight. Probably in 6 weeks. I'd need time to relocate and find an apartment. Sophia finally looked up from her phone. Wait, you're just leaving? Just like that? It's a job opportunity, Soph. People relocate for work all the time. Mom's expression hardened. This is very sudden, Emma. Very selfish, actually. Have you thought about how this affects us? Something in my chest tightened. How it affects you? Well, yes, Mom continued, her voice rising slightly. Your father and I are getting older. We might need help, and Sophia is still establishing her career. She needs family support. I've been supporting everyone, I said quietly. For years. Dad leaned forward. We're family. That's what families do. They help each other. Sophia would never abandon us like this. Abandon. The word hit me like a slap. I'm not abandoning anyone, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I'm taking a job opportunity. You're being selfish, Mom said firmly, after everything we've sacrificed for you. Sacrificed. I almost laughed. What had they sacrificed? What had they ever given me except expectations and disappointment? Sophia chimed in, still looking at her phone. Yeah, Emma, this is kind of a dick move. I'm finally getting traction with my content, and now you're just going to leave? Who's going to help me with rent if something happens? That's when Dad said it, the sentence that shattered whatever loyalty I had left. Sometimes I wonder if we'd all be better off if you were more like your sister, Emma. At least Sophia makes us proud. At least she gives us something to brag about. The table went silent. My friend gasped. David's mouth fell open. Even Sophia looked up from her phone, suddenly uncomfortable. I felt something break inside me, not just my heart, something deeper, the part of me that had spent 27 years trying to earn love that was never going to come. My hands were shaking, but my voice came out steady, clear. David, could you pass me your phone? I need to show everyone something. He slid his phone across the table, looking confused. I opened my banking app and logged in. I'd already connected my spreadsheet to my phone, and I pulled it up. 3 years of data. Every transaction, every payment, every single dollar I'd funneled into this family, while they took it for granted. Dad, you mentioned sacrifice, I said. Let me show you something. I turned David's phone so the screen faced the table. The restaurant had a TV in our private room for presentations. I asked the server if I could connect to it. She looked confused, but helped me mirror the phone to the large screen. There it was, my spreadsheet, in full, undeniable detail. Car payment for Dad, I read aloud, my voice steady. $800 per month for 36 months. That's $28,800. Mom's face went pale. Emma, what are you doing? I'm showing you what sacrifice looks like, I continued. Sophia's equipment and expenses, $3,000 monthly for 32 months. That's $96,000. Actually, let me scroll down. Oh, here's Mom's surgery, $15,000. AC replacement, $6,000. Dad's dental work, $8,000. Sophia's apartment cosigner liability, $2,000 per month for 20 months. That's $40,000 more. I looked up at the table. My friend had tears in her eyes. David looked furious on my behalf. Sophia had gone completely still. My parents were staring at the screen like it was showing evidence of a crime. The total, I said, my voice cutting through the silence, is $147,832 over 3 years, while I worked 60-hour weeks, taught myself advanced coding at night, and built my career from nothing. While you bragged about Sophia's follower count and asked me when I'd do something meaningful with my life. Emma, Dad started, but I held up my hand. I'm not finished. Sophia, you asked who would help with your rent? Nobody. You're 24 years old. You can get a job like the rest of us. You want to be an influencer? Great. But you can support yourself while you do it, the way millions of other content creators do. I turned to my parents. And you too. You retired early. You chose to live beyond your means. You decided that was my responsibility to fund. But here's what you need to understand. I don't owe you anything. I never did. Children aren't retirement plans. They aren't ATMs. They're human beings who deserve to be valued for who they are, not what they can provide. Mom's voice was shaking. How dare you speak to us this way? We're your parents. We raised you. You raised me to believe I had to earn love through money, I said. But I'm done. Starting Monday morning, every automatic payment I set up cancels. Every transfer stops. The car payment? Handle it yourselves. Sophia's equipment fund? Gone. The cosigner on her apartment? I'm contacting the landlord tomorrow to have my name removed. She has 60 days to qualify on her own or find a new place. Sophia's face went white. You can't do that. Where am I supposed to go? The same place millions of 24-year-olds go. Your parents' house. Or you could do what I did at your age. Get a job and support yourself. You're tearing this family apart, Mom hissed. I stood up slowly, gathering my jacket. I'm not tearing anything apart. I'm just removing the foundation you built this family on, which was my money and my guilt. Let's see what's left when those are gone. Dad's voice was low and angry. You'll regret this, Emma. Family is everything. You walk away now, and there's no coming back. I looked at him for a long moment. This man who had never attended a single one of my school coding competitions, who had never asked about my work, who had spent years making me feel small while I made him financially comfortable. You're wrong about one thing, I said quietly. I have a family. They're not related to me by blood, but they actually show up for me. They value me. They don't see me as a paycheck. I turned to David and my friend. Thank you both for coming. I really appreciate it. Dinner's already paid for, so please enjoy your meals. Then I looked back at the three of them. My parents looked shocked and angry. Sophia looked panicked, probably doing math in her head about her rent. Consider tonight my farewell dinner, I said, not just to Miami, but to this version of family. I hope it was worth it. I hope those bragging rights about Sophia's followers were worth losing a daughter who would have done anything for you. I walked out. My heels clicked on the marble floor, steady and sure. Behind me, I heard Mom call my name, then Dad's voice, harsh and demanding. But I didn't turn around. I pushed through the restaurant doors and stepped out into the humid Miami night, and for the first time in years, I could breathe. The next week was chaos. My phone exploded with calls and texts. Mom called me 47 times in the first 2 days alone. Dad left voicemails that started with anger and gradually shifted to bargaining. Sophia sent a string of increasingly panicked messages. Emma, seriously, my rent is due in 3 days. You can't just do this. Mom and Dad are freaking out. Can you please just talk to them? I didn't know you were paying for so much. But you can't just stop. I have obligations. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I did exactly what I'd promised. I logged into every account, canceled every recurring payment, and removed my information from anything that connected me to their financial obligations. I called Sophia's landlord and explained I needed to be removed as a co-signer. They said she'd need to requalify or leave. That wasn't my problem anymore. On day 4, my mother showed up at my apartment building. I watched her on my video doorbell, ringing repeatedly, looking disheveled and desperate. I didn't answer. After 20 minutes, building security came and explained she needed to leave. She did, but not before yelling into the camera, "You're killing your father with this stress, Emma. When he has a heart attack, it'll be your fault." The guilt almost got me. Almost. But then I remembered his words at dinner. At least Sophia makes us proud. And I stayed where I was. Sophia tried a different approach. On day 8, she posted a TikTok video. She was crying, mascara running down her face, sitting on her bed in her apartment. "Betrayal by the one person I trusted," read the caption. "My sister," she said, voice breaking, "just abandoned me and my parents. She was helping with some bills, and she just cut us off. No warning, no conversation. She just stopped. Now I might lose my apartment. My parents might lose their car. All because she wants to move to Seattle for some job. She's choosing money over family." The video blew up. 50,000 views in the first hour, 100,000 by that night. The comments were brutal. "Your sister is heartless. Family comes first. She sounds like a narcissist. You're better off without her. This is why you can't trust people, even family." But then something interesting happened. Someone commented, "Wait, how old are you? Why is your sister paying your bills?" More people started asking questions. "You're 24. Why don't you have a job? If your parents can't afford their car, why did they retire early? Something doesn't add up here." Then the tide really turned. Someone found my LinkedIn profile. They screenshotted my career history, my achievements, the panel I'd spoken on. They posted it under Sophia's video. "So let me get this straight," the comment read, racking up thousands of likes. "Your sister is a senior software engineer who worked her way up from nothing. She's been financially supporting your entire family while building a 6-figure career. And you're mad at her? Girl, get a job." More people dug deeper. They looked at Sophia's content history. 3 years of posts about shopping, restaurants, travel, new equipment, all funded by me. All while she lived rent-free, financially speaking. "This is embarrassing for you," one top comment read. "Your sister was your sugar mama, and now you're crying because she's cutting you off? You're 24. Most people your age are working and paying student loans. You have zero excuse." Sophia's follower count started dropping, not dramatically, but steadily. Turns out, audiences don't like influencers who attack their own family members for not funding their lifestyle. Who knew? On day 10, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Emma?" It was Sophia, but her voice was different. Smaller. "Please don't hang up." I stayed silent. "I'm sorry," she said, and she actually sounded like she meant it. "I didn't know. I mean, I knew you were helping, but Mom and Dad always said you were happy to do it. They said you made so much money that it didn't matter to you. They made it sound like you barely noticed." "I noticed," I said quietly. "I saw the comments on my video," she continued. "People are right. I'm 24. I should have been paying my own rent. I should have gotten a job. I've been living in this bubble where Mom and Dad made it seem like my content creation was a real career, and I believed them." "It can be a real career," I said, "but you have to actually make money from it. You have to treat it like a business, not a hobby someone else funds." "I know that now," she sighed. "I got a job. At a Starbucks. It's not glamorous, but it's something. And I called the landlord. I can't requalify for this apartment, so I'm moving back in with Mom and Dad next month. I'm also starting therapy. I think I need to figure out why I was okay with being dependent like that." I was stunned. Of all the things I'd expected, Sophia actually taking responsibility wasn't one of them. "That's good," I said carefully. "That's really good, Soph. Mom and Dad are furious with me," she admitted. "They're saying I'm betraying the family by siding with you. But Emma, I saw that spreadsheet screenshot someone posted. $147,000 in 3 years, while you were working 60-hour weeks. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. You didn't ask, I pointed out. You're right. I didn't. I was so wrapped up in my own world, I never thought about where the money was coming from. That's on me. She paused. Are you really moving to Seattle? Yes. In 3 weeks. I don't blame you. I'd leave too, if I were you. Her voice got quieter. For what it's worth, I am proud of you. I should have said that at dinner. I should have said it 1,000 times before that. You're the most hard-working, accomplished person I know, and I took you for granted. Thank you for saying that, I said. And I meant it. Will you tell me your new address? I promise I won't give it to Mom and Dad. I don't want to lose you completely. I thought about it for a long moment. Not yet, but maybe someday. When you've had time to figure yourself out independently, when our relationship isn't tangled up in their expectations. That's fair, she whispered. I love you, Emma. I love you too, I said, and I did. Loving someone doesn't mean letting them use you. We hung up. It wasn't resolution, but it was something. It was a door left slightly open, which was more than I'd expected. My parents were a different story. They never apologized. Instead, they sent angry emails about how I'd destroyed the family, how ungrateful I was, how they'd sacrificed their dreams to raise me, and this was how I repaid them. I blocked them after the 3rd email. Some people never change. Some people will always see you as an extension of themselves, never as your own person. And that's okay. It hurts, but it's okay. You can't force people to value you. 3 weeks later, I loaded my car and drove across the country. I took the scenic route, stopping at national parks, sleeping in small-town motels, letting the miles put distance between me and the life I'd left behind. By the time I reached Seattle, the rain-soaked city felt like a fresh start. My new apartment was in Capitol Hill, a neighborhood full of coffee shops and bookstores and people who didn't know anything about my family drama. David had helped me find it remotely, and I fell in love with it the moment I walked in. Big windows, exposed brick, and most importantly, it was mine. No one else's name on the lease, no one else depending on me to pay for it. Work was incredible. The team in Seattle was collaborative and brilliant, and the project was exactly the kind of challenge I'd been craving. I was leading, creating, building something meaningful. And when I left the office each day, I went home to my own space, my own life, my own peace. I made new friends. People who wanted to grab coffee just because they enjoyed my company, not because they needed something from me. I started dating someone I met at a coding meetup. Someone who thought it was cool that I was a lead engineer, who asked about my work with genuine interest. I sent my first month's budget to David, who'd become a real friend through all of this. Look, I wrote, I paid my rent, my car, my groceries, my utilities, and I still have money left over. Do you know how long it's been since I've had savings? He wrote back, I'm so damn proud of you. 4 months into my Seattle life, I got a letter. Physical mail, forwarded from my Miami address. It was from my dad. His handwriting on the envelope made my stomach clench, but I opened it. Inside was a single page. Emma, it read, your mother won't know I'm writing this. She's still angry, still convinced you'll come crawling back, but I'm not sure you will. I'm not sure you should. I've had a lot of time to think. The car got repossessed. We had to sell the house and move into a smaller apartment. Your mother had to go back to work for the first time in 15 years. It's been hard. Really hard. But the hardest part has been realizing that you were right. We did depend on you. We did take you for granted. We built a life we couldn't afford and expected you to fund it because it was easier than facing reality. I can't speak for your mother, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I said at your birthday dinner. I'm sorry for every time I made you feel like you weren't enough. The truth is, you were always more than enough. You were extraordinary, and I was too proud and too foolish to see it. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even expect a response, but I needed you to know, I'm proud of you. I always should have been. Your father. I read it 3 times. Then I folded it carefully and put it in my desk drawer. I didn't write back. Not yet. Maybe someday. Maybe never. But the apology mattered. It didn't erase the hurt, but it acknowledged it. That night, I stood at my apartment window, watching the Seattle rain fall against the glass. My phone buzzed with a text from the person I'd been dating. Coffee tomorrow morning? I want to hear about your latest project. I smiled and typed back, yes, I'd love that. Behind me, my apartment was warm and quiet. My space, my life, my choices. No one was depending on me for anything except being myself. No one was measuring my worth in dollar signs. I was just Emma, senior software engineer, Seattle resident. Someone who'd learned that walking away isn't abandonment when you're walking toward yourself. And for the first time in my entire life, that was enough.